Yo, it's your man MAS, back with another one. Apothecary Diaries versus your favorite anime. Alright, I'm gonna throw a few caveats out there. Alright, so this is law. Alright, you know how some videos will be like, oh, this is subjective, this is my opinion. I mean, yes, but I'm not wrong. Alright, so feel free to give your comments below. This video was inspired by, I think, the comments that I saw in regards to my last Apothecary video, solo leveling and Apothecary Diaries, and it being kind of like on the same level. And I saw a lot of people saying Apothecary Diaries is better than solo leveling, and they're wrong, right? But you're just gonna jump right into it, right? Apothecary Diaries versus all of your favorite animes, right? All of them. But to save time, because this video will be forever, we're just gonna do the top 5 best anime of 2025 for the most part. Like, not 2025, but like the top 5 best new gen anime. All right, so that's the criteria, right? The things that we're going to be measuring, all right? Premise, right? What is the story about? Storytelling. How do they tell that premise? Animation, whether it's action scenes or, you know, how they interact with each other. Is the animation smooth or is it clunky, right? Character development. How do they treat their characters? How do they tell the stories of the characters? Do the characters grow? And then the last most important factor, the addiction factor. Does this anime make you want to watch the next episode, right? So those are the 5 criteria. Premise, storytelling, animation, character development, and addiction factor, right? And again, this is law. This is fact. This is not opinion. I don't care what you say, all right? Take it as such, all right? I'm talking about my anime knowledge goes from Kimagure Orange Roll. A lot of people don't know about the anime, but like, yes, it goes way back. And just to even put more emphasis on it, again, because you know solo leveling is action, we're talking about the anime in general. There are some romance animes that are 10 times better than solo leveling. That's the truth. But we're going to get right into the actual criteria listing, all right? So, first on the list, Apothecary Diaries versus solo level. We'll just get right into that one, right? Apothecary Diaries premise does not beat solo leveling. Solo leveling has a premise. What is the story about? It's complex. It's about hunters. It's about gates. Apothecary Diaries kind of reminds me of a slice of life. It's not really about anything of importance. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, most slice of life animes are gonna fall in this category because it's not meant to be about a specific thing. It's just kind of a general thing. So solo leveling, storytelling. Apothecary Diaries, they got it. They got it. They got it. All right. Apothecary Diaries has a way better story than solo leveling. Storytelling. My bad. Storytelling. All right. Solo leveling, there's probably a more complex story there, but how they tell that story, you can tell solo leveling just cares more about the action versus Apothecary Diaries. It's not so much about action, so they do a really good job at telling their story. It might not be the most exciting premise, right? But they tell a really good job. They do a really good job at telling the story versus solo leveling. You can tell they just kind of want to get to the action, all right? Animation. Do we really have to talk about it? Do we really have to talk about it? Solo leveling clearly has the better animation than Apothecary Diaries. Do you see where this is going in terms of there's no way Apothecary Diaries can be a better anime than solo leveling? Solo leveling probably has the best animation of any new gen animation I've seen yet. And rightfully so, because their budget is like ridiculous, right? The people that are backing them. Is that to shit on the Apothecary Diaries animation? No, like it's good, just it's not better than solo leveling. All right, character development. Apothecary Diaries got it. They are doing a better job at character development versus solo leveling. Solo leveling tried, but you can tell after a certain point, it all became about Jinwoo. That Jinwoo is the character development of solo leveling. Like that, everybody else is, for the most part, feels kind of irrelevant. So Apothecary Diaries do an excellent job at telling stories of the different characters. What I've seen, all right? And then the last factor, the addiction factor. Gotta give it to Apothecary Diaries, right? They do a good job at making you want to know what the next episode is about. But in comparison to Solo Leveling, there ain't no new anime out that is more addicting than Solo Leveling. That is the truth. I found myself watching episodes of Apothecary Diaries, and the next episodes I'm kind of indifferent. I'm like, yeah, I could watch or not watch it. Solo Leveling, I have to. Like, the addiction factor is, does it make you want to like you told yourself only one episode, and the next thing you know you're watching 10 episodes. The addiction factor. Does it force you, not even say make you, does it force you to watch the next episode? Solo Leveling, got it. So what? Apothecary Diaries 1 and 2 categories. Solo Leveling 1 and 3. Solo Leveling, got it. Next anime on the list. Oh, best new anime of the generation, right? Hell's Paradise. Alright? Hell's Paradise. Premise. Hell's Paradise is a better premise than Apothecary Diaries. Unfortunately, again, Apothecary Diaries isn't so much about anything for the most part, being honest, right? Maybe it gets deeper into season 2, right? Which I will get to eventually, but Hell's Paradise just has a way intriguing premise. Storytelling, Apothecary Diaries still got it, right? They beat Solo Leveling, they beat Hell's Paradise. Apothecary Diaries does, even though the premise again might not be the most exciting, they do a really good job at telling the story that is so engaging you can't help but like know about shit about the anime, right? Versus Hell's Paradise, it might be the pitfall of like certain action anime where it's like they don't want to do so much storytelling versus showing the action scenes, right? Animation, I feel like they're kind of even. Yeah, I feel like they're kind of like I can't say Hell's Paradise has better animation than Apothecary Diaries. Maybe, but like slightly, right? Character development, Apothecary Diaries. Even though that might be kind of close, Hell's Paradise character development is pretty good. Like, because they're not touching on a bunch of characters. They're literally touching on certain prisoners. And then they tell the stories really good. So, I mean, character development wise, I think I would give it to Hell's Paradise. And then the addiction factor, Hell's Paradise. Just the premise alone, combined with the addiction factor, right? Like, it makes you want to know what the hell's going on this island. So, Apothecary Diaries won maybe like 1, possibly 2 categories. Hell's Paradise, like, that was a sweep, right? Next category, or next anime. And, you know, feel free to write this down. These are the best, like, in terms of if you want something to watch that is quality and good, these are animes to watch, including Apothecary Diaries. Apothecary Diaries is not a bad anime. Apothecary Diaries is quite the anime. I'm just saying, the way people are talking about that compared to Solo Leveling, I'm like, alright, we really gotta talk about this. Let's compare Apothecary Diaries to your favorite anime and see where it matches up. But and this is fact, all these animes, including Apothecary Diaries, are fire, right? But some are more fire than the other. That's just the truth. We're not all equal. Vinland Saga. Premise. I would probably give it to Apothecary Diaries. They're kind of the same premise. Vinland Saga started off as something and then kind of turned to like, I don't know what Thorfinn is doing, right? So, I mean, maybe I would give it to Vinland Saga. That's in the category that's kind of like up in the air, right? So maybe you call it even for that, right? How they tell the story. Vinland Saga. Vinland Saga, unfortunately, this is the one time Apothecary Diaries does not meet the standards, right? Vinland Saga does an excellent job with telling their story. You know they do an excellent job of telling their story when it's called Vinland Saga, but people still watched it like it was no tomorrow. Like, I don't know how they tell a story about people farming and that be engaging for days, but Vinland, like, they do an excellent job at telling their story, even if it seems rather irrelevant. Vinland Saga got it, right? But Apothecary Diaries did a really good job too, but compared to Vinland Saga, no. Animation, I would say Vinland Saga. Slightly. Character development, Vinland Saga. And addiction factor, Vinland Saga. Vinland Saga, like maybe season 2 is debatable, but Vinland Saga, that's another sweep, right? Again, all because Apothecary Diaries doesn't meet the match of Vinland Saga, doesn't mean that Apothecary Diaries, again, because I probably have to keep repeating this until people kind of get tunnel vision, doesn't mean that it's not a good anime. Apothecary Diaries, again, is a good anime, just compared to Vinland Saga, compared to Hell's Paradise, compared to Solo Leveling, it's just, like, it can't compete like pound for pound, all right? Frieren. We should probably just skip this category. Frieren wins. Frieren, it wins, right? Just Frieren beats in every category. Frieren, and you can tell as I'm talking about it, this is how I kind of rank these animes in terms of like my favorites of this new generation. Frieren is better than Solo Leveling. Frieren is better than Hell's Paradise. Frieren is better than Vinland Saga. That's the law. That's the law. I didn't make this up. Frieren is the best thing since sliced bread. That's fact. So I'm not even gonna go down the list. Frieren beats Apothecary Diaries. And then the last one in this category, and this is probably more debatable, Dandadan, right? Premise. I feel like Dandadan has a better premise than Apothecary Diaries. Dandadan, it comes off a little bit confusing, but there is a purpose, right? Like, in terms of Okurin trying to get, like, his banana back or whatever. Like there is a purpose. Whereas Apothecary Diaries, again, it's not so much about something in particular. Again, maybe season 2 was like that. And again, this list will be subject to change if I get to season 2 of Apothecary Diaries and it blows all these things out the water. Then I'll give it that. But I'm not there yet. So as of right now, Dandadan has a better premise, the way they tell their story. That's hard. I think I will have to give it to Apothecary Diaries. I think Apothecary Diaries does a better job storytelling than Dandadan. Dandadan does a really good job too, but I think Apothecary Diaries, they do it in such a way that it captures your interest, like consistently. There are moments in Dandadan that was a little bit slow, but like by no means necessary. Dandadan does a really good job storytelling. For me, Dandadan kind of kicked up in episode 7 with the ballerina episode, right? Like that's when it really kicked up for me. But Apothecary Diaries storytelling, it from episode 1, so I'll give it to Apothecary Diaries. Animation, Dandadan. I mean, I feel like it's just a better studio. That's a better machine behind Dandadan. But you know, to each his own. Apothecary Diaries, you know, they try. Like character development, Apothecary Diaries, right? So I would give Apothecary Diaries better character development versus Dandadan. I feel like Dandadan didn't introduce too many characters in that first season. So maybe when season 2 comes out, it'll be more things to like judge. But Apothecary Diaries, they got it. Character development, they got it. And then the addiction factor, I feel like they're kind of neck and neck. I would give it a little bit more to Dandadan. Like, it's so unpredictable, and it just makes you want to keep watching. It gives me that Fooly Cooly factor where when Fooly Cooly FLCL first came out, like I was glued to the TV, right? Dandadan gives me that same feeling. Apothecary Diaries doesn't have me glued to the TV. It makes me want to watch, but it's like, all right, I can eat some food and then watch the next episode after. There's certain anime that like I can't eat. I have to know. All right, but those are the best favorite animes of 2025 new gen, and versus Apothecary Diaries. Apothecary Diaries tried. Those animes, like the only anime that seems like Apothecary Diaries probably has it over is probably Dandadan. The rest of them is very, very hard. Like, and then Frieren, I don't think, again, it's not a debate. Hell's Paradise, Solo Leveling, Vinland Saga, like. But again, all those animes in their own right are really, really, really good. All right, but I mean, feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. Check out the video. Let me hear what your favorite animes are and how Apothecary Diaries compete versus them. And then how you feel about the animes I listed. Do you like them? Do you not like them? I can't change the fact that those are the best. You know, you can feel free to debate me in the comments. But it's my MAS. I'm out.